Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the January 28th Comprehensive Plan Task Force meeting. My name is Al LeGros. We don't have a lot of people here tonight, but we have some very specific things to work on, and I'm glad that we have folks here who can certainly do that for us. I'd like to just go around quickly and ask everybody to introduce themselves.
Bill Taylor.
Dave Brown.
I'm Al LeGros.
Brian Hurst.
Mary Ann Naif.
Okay, thank you very much. And we also have participating by way of technology, Mark Eierman, who's a special consultant here for us in the final months of our comprehensive plan effort. So thanks, Mark, for joining in.
Can you hear us, Mark?
Okay.
Okay, good.
First of all, a couple of announcements. In looking at the schedule for February, I don't think we need any task force meetings in the month. And I say that for several reasons. First of all, we're going to have four what we call drop-in information sessions scheduled, and I'll talk about those in a little bit. And then we have the public hearing on February 22nd. So to me, there's really no need to have a task force meeting during the month. If anything changes for some reason, I'll let everybody know, but at this point, no meetings will be scheduled in February. Another announcement, I want everybody to know that we've successfully posted and distributed the latest draft. It appears on the town website. It is available on YouTube, the YouTube town site. We also have distributed hard copies to all of the libraries, Curtis, Orrs, and Bailey Island, and Cundies. And so we met that timeline, which is the 22nd of January, and hopefully people will take advantage of that, and if they have a chance, take a look at that at their leisure. And if they have any questions, we have information meetings scheduled in February where they can come and ask questions, get clarification, and so on. We have one administrative item of business. We have minutes for January 14th that were distributed to everybody. I have one correction to the minutes, and that is in the last part of it. There's one extra word in there, and if everybody will trust me to make that editorial change, I will certainly do that and get with Jim Babarski to make that change. But I'd like to, I wonder if we have the...
I don't know if we have a quorum, do we? I'm not sure how many are on the committee.
Well, we're 50%. So
Well,
we're-
50%, we're got a quorum.
All right,
Thanks.
so, okay, so I think we can vote on the minutes. Let me hear a motion to approve the minutes for January 14th.
So moved.
All in
Seconded.
favor? All right, minutes approved. I'll make that one change, and we're good to go. I want to review the timeline just to make sure everybody's aware. Initially, we had three what we call drop-in information sessions scheduled February 11th, 13th, and 14th from 1 to 3 p.m. here at the town office. We've added another meeting on February 13th from 4 to 6 at the suggestion of Matt Gilley, who said, well, maybe we can get some folks who have early work and folks in the fishing community, for example, who might be able to drop in from 4 to 6 p.m. So we have two scheduled meetings, drop-in sessions on February 13th, first at 1 to 3, second 4 to 6, and then we have February 11th at 1 to 3, and then February 14th from 1 to 3. I have sent an email to Christie asking if we could have this room for these meetings. Initially, I was thinking we could have it in a small room, but it's hard to say how many people will come. It could be zero, could be 20. You just don't know. But I read an email from Mark Ironman earlier today, and I'll ask him to kind of elaborate on it, which recommended that we probably try to get it in this room because we can set up some easels with maps and other things on them, as well as display the comprehensive plan and other things. And so even if we don't have a lot of people here, at least it will be set up in a way that will help people to explain and understand what's going on. Before I get to Mark to talk a little bit about what he's recommended, I'd like to get a sense for people who are available to cover these meetings. On February 11th, from 1 to 3, I'll put my name in here to kind of start things off because I want to get a sense for whether, first of all, are people going to come? Secondly, if they come, what are they concerned about, and so on, and I can pass that on. So I'll sign up for February 11th. I'd like to have somebody else sign up. If not February 11th, February 13th from 1 to 3. From February 13th, 4 to 6, both Matt and Bob Eaton have indicated that they could cover that meeting. So we need names for February 13th, 1 to 3 here, February 14th, 1 to 3 here, and if somebody wants to join me on February 11th, 1 to 3 here.
I sent the time through, but I don't remember what it was, and I'm looking at my calendar.
Okay.
And I didn't put it on my calendar, so
Okay.
I don't know.
Does any of those times, I think you said you could make it.
Any of them at this point. yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to put you down for the 13th, February 14th, I'm sorry.
14th?
At 1 to 3. Dave.
I can do any time, too.
I can do the 11th.
Okay, so you and I, Mary Ann, will do the 11th. Dave and, you want to join up with Dave?
Sure.
Okay. Brian? And then we're just, we'll figure out who's going to cover February 13th from 1 to 3, so we get most of it covered. So we'll get back to you on that. While I'm talking about these drop-in sessions, the Housing Committee has extended an offer to attend these meetings. And I wanted to toss that out to everybody as something that we can discuss. What do you think about somebody from the Housing Committee joining these meetings? Do you have any objection?
No, I think it'd be a good idea.
I think it'd be a good idea, because if you get a lot of questions, I don't have the
Yeah.
Okay.
real knowledge of.
Okay, I will get back to the Housing Committee. Mark, you've heard that? There's a positive. Oh, okay.
All right.
Oh, I know why.
Okay, hold on.
Turn the speaker off out here.
We'll rectify that, Mark.
I think I can fix mine.
Just tell me what you decided.
We're, can you hear me now?
Hear us now.
I can hear you.
Okay. Okay, so what we talked about, Mark, initially we started getting volunteers, sign-ups for the,
All that. I just couldn't hear you ask about whether somebody from the housing committee
yes.
should come, and I could not hear the responses from the task force.
Okay, so most people that are here think that that would be fine. And so I don't know how you want to work that with the Housing Committee, but if somebody can come here during those particular times, we can work things out.
You just respond to Courtney
Okay?
and say yes, and then they'll work it out.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Okay, Mark, I know you sent me an email with some definite ideas about these drop-in sessions and what they might entail, and I'd like to ask you to comment on what you sent me in the email.
First of all, I suggested, doing them in, select board meeting room.
Okay,
Because if you had more than two people or maybe even people and tried to do it in the conference room, it would be difficult to do. And so, and I know how you asked about the availability, and I think that way if you got 3 or 4 or 15 people, then, you've got room. What I suggested was, setting up a set of stations, if you will. Each station having a poster board, easel, even with one part of the plan. I think giving people the summary on paper is good, but people, my experience is people don't stand there and read a page and a half of text, or they do something they don't want to do with it. So I suggested setting up 4 or 5 or 6 stations, that people could see, read what was going on. I suggested, and there's no magic in what I suggested, was maybe the first one would be the arrow diagram showing the progress through the process. I don't feel strongly about that one, but there will be, could be some people who are interested in how we got to where we are. Second, the vision, and I would do just the vision exactly like it's in the plan. I would suggest maybe doing one on executive summary, just sort of the high and 3 or 4 key topics and heading under each of those, so people know what they are. You might put list of the topics that are addressed in the goals, policy, strategy section. The land use plan, I suggested doing that big. And, if you look at what the shoreline zoning map is, that's like 5 by 5 or something like that. So people can actually see what's there, and maybe a list of proposed land use designations, or something that people can look at, think about, respond to, ask questions about.
Okay,
And then what I said is then you can use those same rules at the public hearing, that's set up beforehand, and probably can also use them at town meeting and then interlude when the person voting begins or goes on.
okay, everybody hear that?
yeah.
Okay.
I
couldn't
didn't
catch
hear
the last part of it.
No.
I think what he said was, you could also make use of these things at town meeting and also at the public hearing. So, I mean, what I was thinking of was, I don't know how many easels the town has. I know.
3?
Okay, so what I was thinking of was putting up as many easels as we have in the town with, expanded diagrams, if it's process, vision, executive summary, and so on, the land use plan, the map, and so on, so that people can kind of look at those and get an understanding of what's in the document. I also was thinking that obviously having a copy or copies of the actual plan here that people can kind of go through would be good. And also, the two-page summary that I put together a while ago, I could tweak that a little bit and make that available, and that could be used by everybody as talking points for these particular meetings.
Yeah.
So it's not only visual, but also just talking points. I think the big thing for the task force and for everybody involved is to try to get as familiar as you possibly can with the document. I mean, because somebody might ask a question, well, what do you guys have to say about the working waterfront? Or what's contained in there and so on. So I would encourage people to take a look at this and get as familiar as you possibly can before jumping into this particular activity. Does anybody have any other suggestions or comments?
Only thing I'm going to say is, you shouldn't be figuring out how many posters we can put up by the number of easels that we have. Maybe we could purchase a few,
Yeah. Yeah,
you know.
okay.
I don't know if there's any extra money in the budget. for
I would
this.
like to see like three or
I mean,
four
I
or
know of
five.
2 or 3.
Yeah,
There might be more, but I've never seen a whole lot more than that.
yeah, okay, all
Would
right.
would our consultants have something we could borrow?
That's a good question.
Curious how expensive they are.
Not very, I don't think.
I don't think they're that expensive.
All right.
It would be helpful to have a one-page summary of what we're trying to accomplish in
Yes.
these meetings.
Okay.
That everybody, that we can read to the.
Okay, I'll put that together, if that's all right with everybody. Because I have to kind of tweak this summary of the comprehensive plan a little bit, and I'll do that.
That's a good point. Because these, depending on how many people come in, you could almost end up having to be like a meeting rather than a one-on-one.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the big unknown is, we
Yeah.
could come here and we could be sitting here for 2 hours and nobody could show up. On the other hand, 15 people could come in.
that's true.
So we have to be
Nimble.
flexible, yeah.
I think it would be good to have at least a couple of people from the committee at each.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We need at least 2 people here. So the only time slot that we haven't covered is the 13th from 1 to 3, and I'll figure out a way to
Rough time for me.
cover that. Anything else, Mark, on the drop-in sessions?
The other question that I asked you is what you're doing to make people aware of these drop-in sessions.
Yep. Okay. So here's what we've done. We have an article that's going to come out in the February Anchor talking about these sessions, specific dates and times. We have the dates and times of the drop-in sessions on the website, YouTube, and I hadn't thought about using signage for these things. I was thinking more of using the signage for the public hearing on the 22nd. But so in other words, the 3 main ways of advertising this are Anchor, website, and YouTube.
Al, are the
Sandwich board.
that'll be published under the same batch what the final dates are?
Yes, I talked to J.W. Oliver, the editor, several days ago to make sure that he had all those dates and times specified.
Al, what about using the sandwich board out in front? a couple days before.
Yeah, okay, you could do that. Okay. Anything else on the drop-in sessions? Okay, so we will certainly welcome the assistance of the Housing Committee to answer questions, because that's been a hot-button topic. We'll try to get these stations set up in a way that makes sense to display the information that we think is important. We'll look at getting a one-page summary about what we're trying to accomplish for the people that are going to participate. I have the two-page summary that I put out before. I'll
Yeah.
clean that up a little bit, and then the sandwich board in front of the town office. Now, okay,
Sometimes I'm thinking, just in the past, we've done Q&As ahead of time and had a list of frequently asked questions with answers. I don't know if we're able to do that. We know the questions, but I would find that helpful, because I don't feel all that comfortable with the full plan.
yeah, okay, Q and As. Let me,
I mean, people might come up with some things that we've heard people ask, or something that we could have a,
okay. Yes,
The housing committee is working on a Q&A about the things that are in the plan about housing, and maybe we can coordinate on that.
okay, sounds good. Should I just talk to Courtney about that, or? Okay, okay,
She's in the process of doing a revised draft, and we can work that out.
okay, great. All right. Thank you very much. I think, any other questions or comments about these drop-in sessions? I mean, hopefully, we'll get participation from the public during the course of that week, setting up to the February 22nd public hearing, which brings me to that particular topic. This is going to be an important meeting for us and for the town, because it's sort of the final shot before a vote in March to kind of explain what this is all about, answer questions, to allow people to vote up or down. We're not going to be able to necessarily change things, given the date of the public hearing. But if it obviously does not pass for whatever reason, then we have to go to the next step. But I really want to make sure that this public hearing is presented in a way that is both informative, explaining what we've done and what this is all about, and also an opportunity for people to kind of ask questions. And so, I want to say there's a little bit of showmanship here in organization and so on, but I'm just sort of opening up for discussion about, if you were doing something like this, what would your approach be? Would you start out with sort of a summary of the plan with graphics and so on and so forth, and then turn it over to the public, or is there another way that you would do this?
Is there a format for hearings? I don't know what those are.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, people normally come to these things, and there's a little bit of discussion about what the topic is, but this is such a broad, sweeping document, and it's hard to say how familiar people are going to be with all this. I think
What's your feeling?
I think we need, my personal feeling is I think we need a presentation up front. I don't know how long, 15, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that, that goes over what we've done in the plan, the high points of the plan, and then open it up to public discussion, which is obviously the main reason for a public hearing. But I do think, I think we need something up front that kind of sets the stage, if you will, for people. And beyond that, it's just a matter of how we do that. I mean, whether we have easels with, you know, paper graphs and charts, or whether we can do it by way of computer and click through. I really think we need some kind of formal presentation, whether it's done electronically, or whether it's done just by flipping through, you know, the old-fashioned way, something that we can pull the people in and say, this is what we think is important here.
Right. David, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I agree that we need some sort of presentation. I think it would be a mistake to try and present everything.
Yeah.
That it might be useful to try and articulate the vision in the document, because that's really what it is. It's not detailed legislation. It's, here's what we think ought to be happening in the next 10 years in Harpswell.
Yeah.
And let people take it. I think will be a problem if we get down to worrying about the particular classification of lot 17 and tract 12 of, I mean, we just don't want to be at that level. We want to be at, here's what we think about where we'd like to go in the next 10 years.
So you think focus on the vision and say that, you know, this plan really
This has to be fleshed out. There's
Addressing
gonna be
the-
a lot of
addressing the
work to
vision.
get more details about this in the next 10 years.
Okay.
But this is the general perspective on where we're trying to go.
And how, I'm sorry.
Well, I'm thinking that two of the biggest items that people might focus on is going to be the land use and housing,
Yeah.
you know. That's my take on it. A lot of questions will come around there.
Yeah.
I'm also thinking that it would be nice to be able to compartmentalize the questions a little bit, because otherwise they start, the first question will come up, and then everything will go along that line. And I'm also looking at the word cloud here. Maybe those are the 2 or 3 things that we would kind of bring attention to, and try and get questions around a particular area. I don't know, I'm just trying to figure out how,
Try to figure out how to focus the questions.
focus the questions a little bit. You want everybody to be able to ask the question, but sometimes at the risk of, the first question drives then the questions after that.
I wonder if there'd be a way of getting a sort of preview of the kinds of questions people hope to get discussed.
Yeah, that'd be
That we
interesting.
ask people to spend 5 or 10 minutes and just hear all the people who came with questions that they really wanted to have answered, say what those questions are. And maybe somebody can
Write them down on
as
a,
they do it.
that would be a good idea.
But that would give us sort of an overview, and people who have the same questions can clump together to have a discussion of them.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think we might learn something, assuming people come to these drop-in sessions. I think we might get a sense for
yes.
where people are coming from in terms of some of these issues and so on, so.
I think, too, an explanation for the process of how all of these aspirations are going to get tackled in the future.
Yeah.
What's the process?
How long do you think, let me ask a question. How long a presentation up front do you think we need? 15 minutes,
I don't know.
20 minutes?
15 minutes or less.
Less. I
15
don't know.
minutes. You
Less.
think shorter is,
Yeah,
Shorter is better, I think.
Yep.
Okay.
What do you think about us saying we're gonna go, ask the, people at the meeting, to ask, any questions, and we go by our list of topics, you know? Anybody wanna ask questions about the marine economy? Marine resources,
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a way to kind of focus the questions, yeah, in some respects, yeah. Okay, so something like a 15-minute or so presentation.
10, 15.
And
Yeah,
If we could do questions ahead of time, I think that's a really good
I
idea.
don't know how we do that, except get,
Well, maybe when they come in, they could write questions down when they sign in.
if they have questions.
If they have questions, to
That
write
they're
them on a little
walking in
thing and
with.
throw them in a bucket. And then, as Al's making the presentation, someone could write them up on a,
What are people gonna do who, have questions after the meeting starts, though?
well, they'll still get to ask them, I think, but
Yeah. It's, you haven't lost all your chance if you don't get it in there up front.
Right.
But for us to have a set of questions that people know they want to ask early on, so we can, among other things, clump them into the same
yeah.
okay,
discussion.
And you do want the one item that isn't quite as controversial to get attention also. And with a little bit of planning, I think that can happen, rather than it just happening.
The one item that isn't controversial?
Uh-huh.
Which one is that?
I don't know. But there's some that, we don't want the whole, in my mind, I shouldn't say that. I would not like to see the whole hearing focused on one hot-button issue. I would like to see a number of the issues that have caused questions to be addressed.
yeah. Okay, just sort of the physical layout. I'm going to get with Jim Babarski to talk about how we want this place set up. Typically, in large meeting like this, like for example, the town meeting and so on, the select board and everybody is up on the stage, and audience down below, microphones set up, and so on. Do you think something like that, we ought to follow that particular format, or is there a better way to do it?
Is there a way to, have a screen that gives some information?
Well, that's what I'm trying to, I'm gonna talk to Jim about it.
Yeah.
If there's a way for example, it would be nice if you could just sort of click through a presentation,
You can do that, and he can hook your computer to the big screen,
yeah,
and you can basically show your PowerPoint on the big screen.
okay, yeah,
We've also worked where we've put the table down at eye level, depending on what you're trying to accomplish visually, and have your microphones on the same level as those at the hearing. That becomes just a sense of where you think would work the best.
yeah. Okay, well, I'll talk to Jim and come up with his recommendations about how we do this. But it's gonna be important about what we put out, how we do it, how effective the presentation is, and allowing people enough time to kind of give feedback and so on. Because, just literally a few weeks later, it comes before, for a vote at town meeting, so. Can anybody think of anything else that they might want to do here,
That day?
aside from having a victory parade afterwards?
Gotta wait a month for that.
Okay. All
I
right,
guess we should plan some maybe some snacks,
Snacks. Okay, yeah, that's a good
something to
idea.
drink.
All right. We usually have coffee.
Coffee and juice or cold and some.
All right,
little
okay,
stuff. Just
we'll plan for that.
make people feel
Right.
Welcomed.
Welcomed. And
welcome.
let's keep our fingers crossed that it's a nice, brisk, sunny day.
Oh, I forgot
in
about
Maine.
that piece.
Are we shooting for 2 hours?
I'm not sure there's a specific timeline, but yeah, I would
I
think
would
that
hope, I
if we
would
can
hope not more than that.
get out of there before lunchtime and people can go and
Yeah.
have the rest of the weekend, yeah, for sure. Okay, so you've kind of answered my basic questions. I will get back to you in terms of additional information to kind of run these drop-in sessions. And we'll start working on the public hearing. And we'll keep everybody advised. But again, I don't think we need any more task force meetings. We're going to have 4 sessions here in the, yes,
Al, this is Lon. Hello?
I can hear you.
Al, you do need to schedule a meeting. You should schedule a meeting for either, Saturday afternoon, February 22nd, or probably Monday evening, the February 24th. Because technically, the planning committee, that's you, needs to, if you will, approve the draft and send it to the select board with your recommendation that it goes to town meeting.
Okay, was not aware of that.
Yeah.
Okay,
That can be just by the vote of the committee as a whole?
I'm sorry, Mary Ann, what did you say?
I say, can that be just, we would take a vote as the committee, as a whole?
That's correct. The
Okay.
comprehensive plan task force recommends that the select board submit
is that some sort of written communication that would come,
I would think so.
email or something? Well, to notify the select board that we think this is ready to go to town meeting.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of you, of the committee, formally saying as the committee, here is the recommended final draft of the comprehensive plan.
Okay, so with that,
You vote, if that's the idea, then you vote yes, and the chair sends an email to the chair of the select board and says, we recommend that you put this on the board for town meeting.
okay, well, since we're all going to be there,
Member of the committees.
since we're all going to be there,
Yeah.
hopefully on the day of the public hearing, maybe we can just take
A few minutes.
a few minutes
Afterwards,
after
yeah.
the thing and vote up or down and do it that way. So let's plan on doing that, right after the meeting.
Notice it that you're
Yeah,
going to be,
to notice it.
on the agenda, what you would normally do.
Okay, great, thank you.
Do we have a time for that meeting?
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. Good.
And then it would be immediately following.
The 22nd.
So the 22nd at 10 o'clock is the public hearing, and then as soon as the meeting finishes, we'll conclave, if you will, and have white smoke go up.
Right.
Or
Ask
black?
Kevin to take the message to the
Yes.
chairman.
All right. So we'll do it right after the public hearing. Sounds good? Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, any final comments?
On that or something else?
Anything?
Okay. I brought it up to you a little bit earlier. I got an email from a resident who can't be at tomorrow night's shoreland zoning changes meeting. And he referred to 3 places in the comp plan that are, basically, tomorrow night, they're going to talk about a shoreland zoning ordinance that is going to change to be the highest astronomical tide as our point of reference rather than highest annual tide. However, in the comp plan, there are 3 places that were brought to my attention that it still says highest annual tide.
Yeah,
We're asking if we could get that corrected.
I'm disappointed because I sent that change in.
You mentioned that, yeah.
And apparently, it didn't happen, and I didn't pick up on it, but,
So the question now is, how do we deal with it, I guess?
so, Mark, what would you say to that? Apparently, the suggestion to change highest,
that it was changed in other places, and these 3 places were missed.
Correct.
I think town living council would say, you can change those because they don't really, they don't influence anything significantly, and it clearly wasn't engineered.
so we could theoretically change those electronically in the information that's been. All right. Okay.
I wouldn't change what's out there for public hearing now. I would make note of it at the public hearing and say that in the version that's gonna go to the town meeting, that will be corrected. We can check on that, but I don't think there's a problem with that.
Okay, great.
Just mention it, yeah.
All right, thank you. Anything else? All right, I don't have any other additional comments. I want to thank everybody for coming and providing some good inputs. Any other questions or comments?
No.
Seeing none, this meeting's adjourned.